Straight ahead on WB17 News at 10, a neighborhood is evacuated tonight as gas fumes fill the air. Plus, horror at this Atlantic City hotel. You'll never imagine what was stuffed inside a box spring. Then the very latest on peace in Kosovo. Refugees at Fort Dix react to the news. And reliving the good old days at a special class reunion. Those stories plus the man at the center of a sports controversy speaks out in our studios tonight. WB17 News at 10 starts right now.
This is WB17 News at 10.
European tourists sleep atop a dead man in Atlantic City. Good evening, I'm Steve Highsmith. In Atlantic City, a horrible discovery in a motel room. It's a vacation two tourists will never forget. Authorities are investigating a body found under the box spring of a motel room bed. A bed a German couple vacationing in the gambling town had slept on, with the body stuffed beneath them. The unidentified couple had complained about a smell in their room, room 112 at the Burgundy Motor Inn, across the street from the resort's hotel casino. Well, it turns out that smell was a decomposing body. It may have been there a couple of days. Maids made the gruesome find. Hours later, the name of the body under the bed has not been released. An autopsy will be performed tomorrow, but authorities say it's not likely the man put himself inside the frame platform that holds the box spring. Fumes of a different kind forced an evacuation tonight in West Deptford. The odor of natural gas filled the air along Crown Point Road. Fire crews say it was around 7 o'clock tonight when a contractor digging holes for a fence post hit a small gas line, causing it to rupture. The leak forced the evacuation of 10 homes on the street.
Hotter, you would have more expansion of the gas as it left the pipe. Right now, with it being cooler, the gas is actually staying lower, and you're not having much of it blowing out and expanding.
Residents were allowed back in their homes when PSE&G crews gave the all clear a little over an hour ago. A 3.5-year-old murder investigation in Haverford Township has ended with the arrest of the victim's son. 41-year-old Richard Mercaldo Jr. has been arrested at his Delaware Avenue home and charged in the December 1995 death of his father, Richard Mercaldo Sr. Police say an eyewitness came forward in January with information that led to Mercaldo's arrest.
After the defendant asked for a ride to go see his father. An argument then ensued at the home. A struggle ensued, and the defendant stabbed his father to death.
Police say Mercaldo and his father argued over the son's desire to move home. Police now say it was a murder-attempted suicide in the Frankfurt section of Philadelphia last night. They plan to charge 32-year-old Felipe Vasquez with shooting to death his girlfriend, 27-year-old Maria Cruz, as she sat in a car with her 3 young children. Vasquez then shot himself. He remains in serious condition at Temple University Hospital. A worker at Bally's Casino is dead tonight after a freak accident. The body of 46-year-old Charles Copley was found inside a water holding tank at Bally's Park Place this morning. Copley worked for Coastline Painting and was hired to work on the tanks. Authorities think he was overcome by fumes. The accident is still being investigated tonight. In other news, a declaration of victory from President Clinton tonight in his address to the nation. He says substantial challenges remain in rebuilding Kosovo, but a message is sent.
This victory brings a new hope that when a people are singled out for destruction because of their heritage and religious faith, and we can do something about it, the world will not look the other way.
And overseas today, Serb forces, often cheering, began moving out of Kosovo. But Yugoslav President Slobodan Milosevic today claimed victory, saying he has held on to the province, a cradle of Serb religion and culture. But tonight, addressing the Serb people, President Clinton said that as long as Milosevic, an indicted war criminal, remains in power, the U.S. will not rebuild Serb portions of Yugoslavia. Also today, the UN Security Council approved sending in a peacekeeping force, including 7,000 Americans to secure Kosovo for the return of refugees. These Marines arrived today in Macedonia. Now, Wendy Dockenbaugh standing by live in the newsroom now with what refugees at Fort Dix think about going home. Wendy, do they want to go?
Yeah, Steve, everybody we talk to does, though officials guess it could be at least several months before they could do so. Peacekeepers will need that time to establish order, make sure minefields have been marked and cleared, and the countryside is safe for people to return.
It's going to be peace. We're going to be free, everybody.
Špetin Vila was downright euphoric as he read the news in USA Today.
People of Albania, Kosovo, Please.
Vila says he has uncles and cousins still in Kosovo fighting the war for the KLA, and he looks forward to returning to a country that's free and a life without fear.
I think it's a great thing. I think it's great for everybody.
The same height.
Still, there's no indication when the Kosovars will be able to return home today. They continued learning English as a second language. And 65 more refugees left Fort Dix for new homes in the United States. Several, through translators, said they are still skeptical Slobodan Milosevic will keep his word and end the war.
He said every time he says he's going to do something, he never keeps his word, so he doesn't trust him this time either.
But they don't trust that? They don't believe that?
Ghani Ismaili says he's heartbroken by what's happened in his homeland and to other Albanians still in Kosovo. He, like most of the refugees, is looking forward to going back and helping rebuild.
He would definitely go back, and his family would go back, all of them, because that's where they belong.
There are about 3,000 refugees at Fort Dix, 860,000 overall. UN Secretary General Kofi Annan says it will take the will of the world to get them home safely and help them reconstruct their lives. Live in the newsroom, I'm Wendy Dockenbaugh. Steve.
Thank you, Wendy. Developments in the rowdy school bus controversy. Philadelphia police are now asking the district attorney's office to file charges against the driver. 48-year-old David Jones could face simple assault charges for allegedly striking a 10-year-old student. It happened when some of the kids on the bus started acting up yesterday. Jones, who's had a good driving record, says it was an accident. He's still working for the district but not driving buses until all of this is resolved. A month-long drug investigation in Wilmington has led to the arrest of 2 people and the discovery of a significant amount of drugs. Police arrested 29-year-old Wayne Overton inside this home on Cahalan Road. Police charged him with possession of cocaine with a street value of $1,600. 32-year-old Regina Bailey is charged with possession of marijuana. Police also say their investigation uncovered an unlicensed daycare inside the home.
And an illegal daycare in that house? No, I have nephews. The police seen toys and stuff in my house, so they took it to think that I had an illegal daycare. I didn't have a daycare.
Bailey says she operated a daycare out of her home years ago, but still has paperwork and supplies in her attic. Confessed rapist Clarence LaRue will spend the next 40 to 80 years in prison for raping a Cherry Hill woman last summer. It happened near 54th and City Avenue last July. The woman was lost and trying to get directions when LaRue spotted her and followed her. He forced his way into her car and repeatedly raped and verbally abused her. Prosecutors say the judge's sentence is more than fair.
He gave us a sentence that reflected the fact that all women are unsafe if Mr. LaRue isn't behind bars.
When LaRue realized he was getting a stiff sentence today, he wanted to change his plea. He got into a shouting match with a judge and was thrown out of the courtroom and back behind bars. In other news, girls in New Jersey may soon have to tell their parents if they plan to have an abortion. The state assembly approved a bill in which doctors would have to alert both parents at least 48 hours before performing the procedure. Parental consent is not necessary under this bill, just notification. Legislation now goes to the state Senate. Governor Whitman supports the bill after rejecting it last year. Potential New York U.S. Senate candidate Hillary Rodham Clinton on the fundraising trail today for a New Jersey Democrat trying to keep his House seat. Mrs. Clinton showing support for Congressman Rush Holt, who narrowly won his 12th district seat. She urged gun control in a society where she says access to guns is broad.
We have to pay very close attention to what we can do to make it as hard as possible for young people, violent people, criminals to get a hold of weapons.
Mrs. Clinton later headed to a Ewing Township school for a youth anti-violence program. Much more still ahead on WB17 News at 10. Find out why a huge fireball had people cheering today. Plus, this little slugger has become a big star. Hear his record-setting performance. Julie?
Steve, looking at record low water levels in parts of the Delaware Valley. A drought warning has been issued, and I will run through all the details when I return with the 5-day forecast. Mike.
All right, Julie, in sports, WIP Radio's Mike Missinelli at the center of controversy. We'll hear from him later on. And Indiana basketball coach Bobby Knight accused of trying to use his hands as a lethal weapon.
And serious changes coming to sunscreen. Details ahead on WB17 News at 10. The newest U.S. anti-missile missile works. It's called THAAD. Wild cheering at White Sands, New Mexico as a fireball, result of the collision of two missiles, lights up the early morning sky. After 6 failures, THAAD, which stands for Theater High Altitude Area Defense, hit its target, a Hera missile. Critics say THAAD, designed to protect troops in the field, is too expensive, though, and unreliable. Here at home, New Jersey corrections officers rallied outside the Southwoods prison this afternoon, demanding more rights for officers. They say the administration cares more about convicted criminals than its own honest employees. The officers cite 2 incidents in which they say corrections officers were suspended from their jobs for subduing unruly prisoners.
Our people have now become punching bags, and the message has gone out clear with these 2 incidents, the incident at Kraft and the incident here. If you assault staff, the staff is going to suffer.
The officers say state prisons are severely understaffed. There are currently 125 inmates to every officer. In Philadelphia today, top honors for some top cops. 81 officers were promoted to the ranks of lieutenant, sergeant, or corporal. Police Commissioner John Timoney and Mayor Ed Rendell were on hand to congratulate the newly promoted officers. We salute you on your achievements tonight. Philadelphia Zoo celebrating this evening with a few party animals.
Oh, Rose, there you go! Come on! Get down! Come on! Get down!
People and animals gathered to celebrate the 25th anniversary of Zubilee. That's the annual fundraising gala. Includes goodies from 75 local restaurants and a little dancing to work off those calories tonight. Yes, we did. A Motown musical at the Merriam Theater tonight. Smokey Robinson sang Sister Sang, and that's exactly what they did for the audience and for a good cause. Proceeds tonight helping fight breast cancer by sponsoring free local mammogram testing. And talk about singing. Fans at the Dodgers game last night got a chance to catch a performance that's earned a spot in the record books. Oh, say, can that boy sing? Little Rex Spooty became the youngest kid ever to sing the national anthem at a ballpark. The 3-year-old crooner from Idaho belted out the patriotic tune to the crowd. To your health tonight, it looks like America's health is improving overall, but there are some disturbing trends among children. U.S. Surgeon General David Satcher says that overall Americans are eating more fruits and vegetables, seeing the dentist more, and dying less frequently from breast cancer. Unfortunately, though, Satcher says obesity, especially among children, has reached epidemic proportions, and that the cases of childhood asthma have tripled since 1980. The sunscreen you use is about to become more user-friendly. The FDA is now requiring all products with a rating over 30 to simply be labeled 30 plus. And companies will no longer be able to claim they're waterproof or offer all-day protection. The changes come as more than 1 million new cases of skin cancer are expected this year. Today in the Delaware Valley, a very cool, very refreshing day, Julie.
It's about time we had some cooler weather, but it will stay cool, and you may need that sunscreen as well. Dry weather conditions, as a matter of fact, a new drought warning issued, and I will detail that in just a minute. Let's take you outside in Philadelphia for a view of the Ben Franklin Parkway. Add the numbers, look how cool it was, only making it to 74 today. The normal high is 81. 62 for the low, and right now we have the mid-60s. 50% humidity. It's still a little windy right now. Easterly winds at 14 with a rising pressure, and just a trace of rain from some drizzle that moved through very early this morning and early afternoon. The temperature readings tonight are very pleasant. 59 degrees in Wrightstown, 67 in Wilmington, and 68 degrees in Allentown. Pollen counts have dropped today. Trees on the high side as well as grasses very high for the molds. Now let's take you through the maps. We had a backdoor cold front move through the region, gave us a little bit of drizzle, however some showers off to the west. That has now pushed out of the region, and we can enjoy some drier conditions and some clear skies. But however, this does mean we are behind on our water levels. We have a drought warning in effect for 47 counties in Pennsylvania only. That includes Philadelphia, Allentown, Harrisburg, all of our Pennsylvania viewing area. And what this means is they're asking us to cut back on some water restrictions. Now, we didn't get that much rainfall this season, so that's giving us record low seasonal groundwater. And stream flow levels, we got to cut back about 10% voluntarily on our water consumptions. That means try to cut back on washing the car and heading outside and watering the grass and flowers. Now, high pressure is in control. We're going to stay dry from that area of high pressure. We do have another storm system moving through the central U.S. causing severe weather there, and this will affect us, but not until Monday. So that means a drier forecast this weekend. Beginning tomorrow, a very pleasant day, sunny skies and breezy conditions. Your forecast tonight and overnight, clearing skies, cool and breezy, lows in the 50s. By tomorrow, sunshine from wake up through midday and the drive home, a very pleasant day. The 5-day forecast shows that the nice weather continues into Saturday with a mostly sunny day. Temperatures right where they should be. A little bit warmer on Sunday, but still pleasant. That storm system coming in Monday night into early Tuesday, giving us some showers and thunderstorms.
Mother Nature cooled off, but do people?
Talking about our partner, Mike Missinelli from WIP Radio. He's a little bit of a hothead, usually make-believe on our show, but I think this is for real, Steve. After a feud with his radio partner, Mike Missinelli has blown off his shift at WIP the past couple of days, but he didn't blow us off. He speaks out about the incident tonight in just a few minutes.
And Mike, a journey back to the 1930s with South Philadelphia alumni when WB17 News at 10 returns. Sports Time with Mike Dardis. You know, I saw Howard Eskin yesterday. He didn't seem upset about all this.
You know, Missinelli and Eskin, they have to spend 4 hours a day together. We just do the 3-minute thing. Can you imagine if we had to do that every day, 4 hours? One of us would have to go, Steve. A member of our WB17 sports team is at the center of a Philadelphia media controversy after an on-air argument with his partner Howard Eskin. WIP radio host Mike Missinelli walked out of the studios on Tuesday right in the middle of his shift. It got big play this morning in the Daily News because Missinelli hasn't reported to work since, and his regular listeners are wondering if he'll ever be back. Well, today he speaks out for the first time. He stopped by to tape our weekly Mike and Mike segment for the Sunday Sports Express.
Let me just say from the outset that what I did was to walk off the show was wrong. I will say that because that really wasn't a professional way of dealing with things. But, you know, when you work with people, you reach a level of exasperation where you just react and you do certain things. Yeah, I think that we can repair the relationship.
When are you going to tone this down, young man?
It's called passion.
You know, there's some thought in town that maybe this whole blow-up on the radio station was an act, and you're doing it as a management ploy to get the ratings up, Missinelli. What do you say to that?
Maybe.
Actually, Mike was joking there. He tells me that the argument was actually legit, not a management ploy, and you can watch the entire Mike and Mike segment Sunday night at 10:30 on WB's Sports Express. Makes for a good tease anyway, huh? Baseball news, lefty pitcher Randy Wolf called up to the Phillies from AAA yesterday, and he stops by the vet today. He's going to get the start against Jim Fragosi's Blue Jays tomorrow. An injury to Carlton Lower gives Wolf his first chance in the bigs. He expected to stay in Scranton all season, so it was a shocker when the Phil's assistant GM gave him a ring.
Rudy Morrow called, and at first I thought it was either somebody having a joke with me, and when he told me, I kind of hesitated, tried to see if the person was serious and if it was really him, and then I told him I had to take a seat because, you know, I couldn't believe it.
Stanley Cup Finals game number 2. After 2 periods, Sabres and Stars are all knotted at 1 apiece. Basketball, former Sixers player and current assistant coach Maurice Cheeks is one of 13 nominees for basketball's Hall of Fame. The names are going to go to the voters now, and Cheeks is going to find out on June 21st if he is in the Hall of Fame. Indiana basketball coach Bobby Knight is facing possible battery charges. A 38-year-old man confronted him while he was paying his bill at a Mexican restaurant on Monday. The man alleges that Knight then grabbed him by the neck in the parking lot. A waiter, though, interviewed by police, says it was actually the man who approached Knight. Then the man got into the coach's face. A federal jury has awarded former boxer Randall Tex Cobb $8.5 million. The local guy sued Sports Illustrated for libel after the magazine reported that he fixed a fight back in '93, then shared cocaine with a loser. Cobb says the article has made him damaged goods. And here's a new one. The guy in the mustache and glasses disguise is Mets manager Bobby Valentine. He was ejected in the 12th inning of last night's game against Toronto, but he came back to the bench incognito. The National League is investigating a decision on a possible suspension. Could come tomorrow. And if he had just gone with the fake nose, he probably would have gotten away with it, but he didn't do it.
Stealth manager.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Mike. More ahead on WB17 News at 10. A few South Philly boys celebrating their 69th reunion. Stay tuned.
Happy birthday to you.
A very special day for Mary Jacobs, celebrating her 105th birthday with friends at the Golden Slipper Uptown home. The birthday girl was born in Russia but came to Philadelphia when she was 10. The retired seamstress enjoys going for walks and, as you can see, dancing. If you feel old thinking about your 20th or 30th or even 40th high school reunion, how about a 69th? Margie Smith says some South Philadelphians had theirs today.
How can I leave thee?
On a hot June day in 1930, 164 young men graduated from what was then South Philadelphia High School for boys. 18 are still talking about it.
It's great to be here. Really, really great.
What's the alternative?
What's the alternative, he wants to know. We won't go into that.
The graduates have been getting together annually since their 50th reunion in 1980. They toast their successes, remember the many departed, and with help from Charlie Perry's 69-year-old yearbook, reminisce about coming of age in the Depression.
Nobody had any money.
We were all poor. When our class went to Washington, it took us 3 years to save $17.
George Keegan reminds that most everyone here served in World War II. Classmates tease 88-year-old Jim Leonetti about being best looking and most acquainted with the tunnel that connected the boys and girls schools.
I did a little chasing, I'd say, and I did fairly well.
The gang is already planning for the Millennium reunion. Someone suggested a joint get-together with the girls' class of 1950, a few Viagra jokes, and then the goodbyes.
Good to see you. Stay well and come again next year.
In Center City, Margie Smith, WB17 News at 10.
And that's it for now. Thanks for joining us. We hope to see you tomorrow night here at 10. I'm Steve Highsmith. Have a good night. In the news this morning.
Check in 2, 3, 4 times a day.
You're watching Philadelphia's WB17.